What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Thank you guys for tuning in to Trailblazers Radio. And I thank you so much for tuning in. You guys could have been anywhere else, but you guys are right here with us. And we thank you so very much for tuning in with us. And we most definitely appreciate that. Tonight is going to be a little different tonight, as I don't necessarily have a guest or anything of that nature. However, I'm going to talk about something that is near and dear to me, and I'm gonna get to that in just a moment. But before I even do any of that, um, I do have some detailed notes that I wrote down. So I do apologize. So I will glance down every once in a while, take a look at my notes and things of that nature. So I do apologize for that. But before we even jump into that, I do want to throw a couple of announcements out here so that way everybody can be abreast on what is going on. Um, Not only with us, but with everything else that's going on, maybe in your community, in this community, but maybe even in your community. So first and foremost, I do want to throw the first announcement that I'm going to throw out here tonight is going to be start on July 23rd. That is a Saturday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at 1071 Railroad Street in Conyers, Georgia. Zip code is 30032. There will be a back to school community celebration that is sponsored by Miss Rhonda Taylor, um, representative for Georgia House Representative for District 91, also in partnership with the Goody Crew Foundation. This is going to be a community event that's going to have they're going to have school supplies. There's going to be school uniforms, socks, coats, hats, gloves, dresses, boy shorts and shirts, games, prizes, and very much and so much more. They're going to be hot dogs and snacks served there, and also music by DJ Lion. So for anyone that is in the DeKalb County or the Rockdale County area, Make sure you go check that. Make sure you go check that out. It is a back to school event once again happening on July 23rd at from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. At 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And you guys make sure you guys check that out. If you and make sure you guys check that out at the address given. Again, that is 1071 Railroad Street in Conyers, Georgia. Zip code is 30032. Look for the balloons on the street. And again, sponsored by Miss Rhonda Taylor, Georgia House Representative in District 91. Um, Also in partnership with the Goody Crew Foundation. So make sure you guys check that out. And following up on that on Thursday, not Thursday, but July 30th at 6:30 p.m. Do not miss the 2022 Prophetic Conference. The theme of this conference is the waiting room experience. So there are going to be some very powerful speakers there, like very powerful speakers there, like Reverend Viviana Cohen, DeCohen, Elder Makisha Johnson, Dr. Kimberly McWilliams, Prophetess Chandra Frazier, Apostle Anita Page. These ladies are gonna be talking about the subject at hand, the waiting room experience, and they're gonna give a powerful word to make sure that you guys are refreshed, restored, and set free. And you most definitely don't want to miss this. Um that event is an online event and it will be on Zoom. Um, I'll make sure that I put the registration link in the comments so that way anyone that is interested they can go. The other thing that I want to do, and I want to do this for this person, and because I'm really proud of this person, and I want to show love to this person. I want to show love to this individual as much as I can show love for this individual. Um, a good friend of mine Rage. She is a pays the label artist, and she is in the running for an opening for to be an opening act. So I want you guys. This is going to be Audacity's Audacity, which is formerly radio.com, annual concert at the Hollywood Bowl. And Rage has a chance to be the opening act. So if you guys want to vote, you guys can go to theopenact.com. Once again, that is theopenact.com. You can vote free once every 24 hours, or you can do multiple votes by paying. But I most definitely want you guys to vote for Miss Rage, and Miss vote for my sis and my fellow creative Miss Rage. She is currently first in her group, and the more votes that we throw at her, the more votes we throw in the box for her, the more votes that she has to be the opening act at the Hollywood Bowl. So please do me a favor and show her support, and give her those votes. They're currently 8 days. There are currently 8 days left. 8 days left in the voting. So please go to www.theopenact.com and vote for Rage. That name is RAIG. Um, so go vote for her and check her out, and make sure that you vote for her. You guys can vote for her once every 24 hours. And the other thing that I also want to do is I want to give a big, 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 big shout out to um, author Michelle S. Lovett, and who is the visionary of Life, Love, and Lockup Volume 4, Crack But Not Damage. She's also the visionary behind Life, Love, and Lockup Volumes 1, 2, and 3. I want to give a big shout out to her. This book right here is available currently right now on Amazon, so please go get this. There's some great stories in here. I've already dived into it, and I'm literally enjoying what I'm reading. So make sure you guys get this Life, Love, and Lockup Volume 4, Crack But Not Damage. Michelle S. Lovett is the visionary behind this. There are several authors here. Michelle Lovett, Natasha Bobbitt, Letitia Mosley, Anthony Hall, Monica Crumpler, Erica Morris Robinson, James E. Thornton Jr., April Jackson Hunter, um, Jodrell Benjamin, Russell Tyson, Amina Kirk Thornton, and Benny Lovett. These are the authors of this book, and I want you guys to support them by going to Amazon.com and purchasing Life, Love, and Lockup. I promise you, this is going to be a book that's going to be very, very, very instrumental for you. And I most definitely stand behind it, and most definitely give kudos, and I most definitely give kudos to Michelle Lovett and her team, as well as the authors on this book. So you guys go out there and get that book right now. Lastly, but most definitely, but surely not least, um, I also want to do this as well, because I want to be in order, and I also want to honor my girlfriend, and Miss Monica Reese. Please give your prayers to the Hubbard family as they lost um they lost a matriarch in the family. Um, please give, and loss of a valuable and also loved woman, Miss Deanne Hubbard. Please give your condolences and prayers to Monica and the Hubbard family as they go through this trying time. Um, please leave your thoughts and your prayers with them. Um, most definitely thoughts and prayers will go to her and the Hubbard family from the Trailblazers radio family. So all thoughts and prayers go to her and the family. Um, Monica, I love you, and I love you to life, and there's nothing you can do about it. And anything that you need or that you want or need from me, I am here, and I'm available. So with that being said, guys, and also with that being said, guys, the subject that I'm going to talk about. Oh, and I do want to apologize. This news was found out today, so I want to be respectful to that, and just make sure you give those thoughts and prayers to the family. So please give those thoughts and prayers to the family. So with that being said, guys, now that I got the announcements and everything out of the way, I want to jump on it. I want to talk about a subject that I think is near and dear to me, and it's probably going to cause a lot of a lot of war, maybe some waterworks, maybe not some waterworks, but I want to talk about this. This is the name of the show is called "A Father's Pain and a Son's Legacy." So I want to talk about I want to talk about my son Kawanza Beatty, but I also want to talk about the legacy that he leaves behind, but also want to talk about the what I've endured as a father and as a human being, and as a human being. So the best place for me to begin is literally at the beginning. Hey, Miss Laura, how are you? Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for coming on board and riding with us tonight. Also, I just want to thank you guys for just tuning into us and liking and sharing our content. Keep liking and sharing our content. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, also on LinkedIn, and follow our streams on YouTube. They those shows stream live on YouTube, and also those episodes are uploaded to Anchor to where they're streamed on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and the like. So thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for watching. Um, we most definitely appreciate that. So with that being said, I want to talk about this and where to begin. I think the best place to begin is literally at the beginning. So I'll start like this. March 9th, 1992. A a young man was born into this world that a young man was born into this world. Um, a young man that I helped birth. His name was Kawanza Jamal Beatty. I named him that. I named him Kawanza as an homage to my uncle, which his name is Jawanza. Weirdly enough, weirdly enough, I learned that his name was in close spelling to Kwanzaa, which is an African holiday, which means first fruit in Swahili. So I thought about that, and learn and just by thinking about that now, that he my firstborn son is the first fruits of my from me, from my loins. And at that point, from that point, I was proud. I was proud. I was a proud father, proud to have been able to bring life into this world, proud to have been able to um, have the opportunity to be a father. Um, his childhood experiences with me, we I didn't really have that many childhood experiences with him. Simple fact of the matter is being that I wasn't always around. Um, Me being in the military, I got out of the military 1 year later, and kind of moved around a bit, which made me more or less of an absentee father. Um, I will admit, I will personally admit that here and anywhere else, um, I was not present in my son's life. Um, there were opportunities where I had to see him, and those opportunities were passed up. There was an opportunity to from my mother and my stepfather, no, no, my stepmother and my father, to have custody of him. However, that fell through the cracks. Um, Custody went to his grandmother. Um, and I'm not going to go out here. I'm not going to go on here and talk about anybody else, because that's not my thing. And that's not how I get down. That's not how I operate. So I'm only going to talk about me. So years go by, months pass, and years go by. Summer of, I forgot which year. I think it might be. I think it may be to either. It was somewhere between 2010 and early 2011. I think one of those years. Um, he comes to Georgia. We talk. We he wants to come and he wants to talk to me. He wants to live with me. He wants to bury the hatchet with me and things of that nature. I'm all for it because this is an opportunity for me to be able to reform a relationship that I've had with him that I didn't have. This is a chance for me to um be able to have something, be able to form a bond with him. Over that became a little tumultuous. That became a little not necessarily difficult, but not difficult, but not easy either. As we always bumped heads, we always collided in some way, shape, or form. We always didn't quite come together in some way, shape, or form. We didn't quite agree on something, which is natural between a parent and a child. Um, a lot of those disagreements became physical. Became a lot of those disagreements became physical altercations. I'll admit that. Simple fact of me losing my cool and me wanting him to be a son and me wanting to be a father. I they became physical altercations and they were they were intense. Um, during that time, he was let's during that time he did I just let's just say he did a crime, and let's just say he did something that he was not supposed to do, and it came to the point that it came to the point that he had to pay the price or the consequences for that. I won't go any further. I won't go any further than that because I want to be respectful of him. I want to be respectful of him posthumously, but at the same time, I also just want to kind of make put make give a little context to that. I'll just say that he committed a crime. He did something he wasn't supposed to do, and he paid the price. He paid the price for it. Fast forward some years later, he's he paid the penance for what he did, as well as went back to Virginia and started his life over again. And I mean really started his life over again. He got himself employment. He found him a job. He started doing things the right way. Still as any human being, we still have we as any human being, we still have our flaws. And that's who we are as human beings. We still have our flaws. So, you know, he began to do the 180, do a 180. Began to turn his life around, began to do things for the betterment of himself. You know, me and my ex-wife, we get a phone call saying that he's gonna be a father. And I am I'm ecstatic for him. I am ecstatic and I am proud of him. Number one proud of him because of the the things that he did, the things that he did to right his own ship. And he was a young man that was on his way. You know, I was looking forward to being a grandfather, looking forward to being able to both me and him be have a collective role in raising a grandchild. You know, being everly active in that child's life, in that grandchild's life, but also being a present person in my son's life now, because now there's something that I as a human being can look forward to. You know, my son was a kind-hearted, gentle person. A person who would give you the shirt off his back if it meant that you would be warm. A person that would give you everything of him if it meant that you would be able to succeed. A person that was truly an open-hearted person who loved everyone, who loved everyone and was loved by everyone. That is the most endearing quality that I that's the most endearing quality that I love and I respect the most about him. He loved everyone and everyone loved and respected. He loved and respected everyone and everyone loved and respected him. He even started showing his siblings, started being that guiding light to his siblings, trying to show them the right way, trying to get them on the right path. I know one of his siblings, what they're doing now is a direct what they're doing now is a direct result of what he had been teaching, what he had been showing. And I most definitely respected him as a young man for that, as a young king for that. Most definitely did that. I most definitely tried to do as much as I can to respect him for that. Even though in the beginning of us trying to reforge our relationship, there were so many bumps along the road. There were so many barriers to that. So many things that prevented us to kind of coming together and being that coming together, being that cohesive father son thing unit. And I'll admit that most of that was on me. I will admit that most of that was on me. I'll admit that wholeheartedly. I won't even say that I won't say that I won't even deny the fact that a lot of that was on me. And for that part of it, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry and I'm so apologetic for that because some of those things did not have to happen, but God made sure that they happened. This man was I can tell you what this man was. This young man had a smile that could light up a room. You know, this man was so loved and respected by other people and other people, so respected by by a young child that wasn't his, and that child loved and respected him. And I won't say I am proud to see the young man that he is, or that he was, or that he became. July 4th, 2015 is a day that will forever live in infamy from me. I don't want to bore anybody with any type of details, but to kind of set the scene, or kind of put certain things in perspective. I'll start by this. What started as an ordinary July 4th day turned into a a living hell for me turned into a living hell for his family, birth family, and extended family. To receive a phone call in the middle of a Walmart and to get that particular type of news is, how can I put this, jarring at best. When I received that phone call, I was actually holding a I was actually excuse me, I was holding a barbecue grill. And when I got that phone call, I actually dropped the barbecue grill. And for a moment of like maybe 45 seconds to maybe a minute. But for that 45 seconds to a minute felt like a whole eternity. Time stopped. And it actually went it actually progressed at a crawl. Everything around me was moving at a snail's pace. And I was transfixed in that, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I couldn't move from that until that time period of time was over. You know, get in the car, get in the car. What was supposed to be a 10-minute drive back to where I was living at the time turned out to be a 30-minute drive because I had to keep pulling over because I could not get my hands to stop shaking. I couldn't grip the wheel. 30 minutes later, come back to my house, come back to the house. Let I let the family know at the time what happened. As expected, cascade of emotions. Wanted to call off what we were doing at the time, but I said no. Let's continue. Let's do it because I think it was important for us to have for me to have people around us were that could envelop us with love and understanding and caring. And for a time it worked. For a time it worked. The calls kept coming in, and answering one question after another. You know, one call one call I remember in particular was from somebody who was investigating what was going on. And he asked questions, and then one of the questions he had the nerve to say that, you, this and the third, like, sounds a known game banger, and he was in gang activity, and did you know he did this and did that? I said, no, sir, I didn't know any of that. But at the same time, why are you sitting here bringing up what Brian? Why are you bringing up all this information? He even brought up my son's criminal history. Why are you bringing up all that damn? Why are you bringing up all that fucking information? That's and to me that is the disconnect when it comes to us and black when and I'm jumping off a small tangent here, but I am gonna get right back on topic, on task, and on topic. That is a disconnect when it comes to us and police involved shootings. They always always mark us as they always villainize us or demonize us because we that the person that was the victim in this case had a criminal history. Come on. we've all done some dirt, and we've all done something in our lives. None of us are clean. And anyone that says they are, they're lying. But with that, enough of that part of it, because I don't want to go on a rant about. I don't want to go on any rant about that. Days pass. Still more questions than answers, and no closer to understanding. No closer to understanding. No closer to understanding what the truth is and what's false. More days pass. Um, travel down to Florida. Travel from Florida up to Virginia to attend my son's homegoing service. I get there. I'm immediately overwhelmed by fear, and I immediately, I'm overwhelmed by fear, and I feel such an oppressive and nervous energy. Almost felt like I didn't deserve to be there. However, I was reassured by his grandmother, and then reassured again by um, Vonnie and Shatasha that you have every right to be here. You're his father. This wasn't going to happen without you. That was reassurance. And I to this day I want to this day I thank them for that, for giving me that reassurance. I know I didn't say it then, and I probably, if I did say it, I probably said it in a very low voice. But I want to thank you guys for that reassurance. It's much appreciated. His viewing is on July was on his viewing was on July 12th. That was I believe that was either a Saturday or a Sunday. For those who don't know, July 12th is my birthday, which I just celebrated yesterday. Oh, and I want to just, and again, on a different note, I want to thank everybody for everybody that wished me happy birthday and all the birthday wishes. Thank you, thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. I'm so appreciative. Thank you. Um, so my son's viewing is on July 12th. Again, this nervous and oppressive energy comes over me because in my mind's eye, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this at all because I just didn't want to do that. And I didn't look forward to doing it. But I had to. Some semblance of closure, some semblance of, I don't know, some semblance of closure. I mean, some semblance of closure, some semblance of Lord knows what. I don't know. Get closer to the body, get closer to his body, and that's when the reality of everything hit me. That my oldest son is no longer on this earth, is no longer breathing, no longer present. There's a wave of emotion that hit me and overwhelmed me. I think the sight of seeing anyone that you love in a casket or in a casket is very, very jarring. And in some cases, polarizing. So, and it actually was very jarring and very polarizing for me. And I stood there transfixed, caught up in all the emotions that I felt, caught up in all the things that I didn't say, that I couldn't say, that I wouldn't say, that I had a chance to say but never said it. All the things that I wanted, all the things that I wanted to do, all the things that I wanted to do with him, all the time, all the times that I was looking forward to sharing with him. It wasn't going to happen. Not necessarily the birthday present that I wanted, not necessarily the birthday present that I had asked for and needed. Unfortunately, it was a birthday present. It was the birthday present that I received. A day later, July 13th, 2015, his funeral, his homegoing service commences. I couldn't tell you what was said. I couldn't tell you what was sung. I couldn't tell you what songs were sung. I couldn't tell you who spoke. I couldn't tell you any of that. Simple fact of the matter is because I was lost in my own emotions. That homegoing service happened as a blur for me. And I couldn't tell you I couldn't tell you what transpired. Not to say that I purposely forgot about it or purposely didn't want to remember it or purposely didn't want to see it because I had no choice but to see it. But things happen so fast. It didn't happen so fast, but while everything was going on, I was already transfixed and trans into my own emotions, into my own feelings and things of that nature. So I couldn't tell you what happened. I know that some people spoke. Well, maybe I know some people spoke. Maybe I faintly recall someone speaking, someone singing, but that's probably the gist of it from what I can tell you. From what I can tell you. Maybe it's my subconscious mind telling me not to remember it, but maybe not. Who knows? We get to the burial site. Again, I'm transfixed in my own emotions. However, however, and I'll say this because I don't know if anybody else feels that, but I don't know if anybody else comes to that realization to themselves. But hey, but this is what I'll say. This is what I felt. We get to the burial site. I'm still transfixed in my emotions, and everything is still happening, just flying by me. But when they commit his body to they commit him to the ground, and they lower that casket. That it was everything like it's like everything in time froze again, and I was forced to watch that. I won't say forced to watch it because I watched it in its entirety. There's nothing more jarring or painful than watching someone that you love pass away. Number one, pass away, or watching someone that you love be find go on there, find their take their final ride, and also and be committed to their final resting place. It is a scene that plays back in my mind all the time. For anyone who's ever dealt with loss, no matter the circumstances of the loss, that's a pic that's a pic that is a stop motion pic that is a stop motion video that plays in your mind a lot. Come back home, come back to Florida. Things with me in my emotional and my mental deteriorate very quickly. I won't say very quickly because now that this happened, now I'm angry. I'm mad, I'm pissed off. I'm beginning to get more information about the manner of his death. As time goes on, an investigation is investigating. As time goes on, the investigation came up to the point to where the police officer that was guilty, that not was say guilty, that was involved in my son's shooting was not held to any responsibility or any culpability or even accountability for that matter. Now, I know that I left out some information left out some important information, and I'll say this: I don't know about you or anybody else, but there's no justification for a police officer shooting any person in the back of the head. This person was turning away from you, turning away from you. They pose no threat to you, but based on the Commonwealth's attorneys account of the investigation and based upon the officer's recount of the investigation, there was no wrongdoing. Hard to get justice when you're denied it. Hard to get accountability when hard to hard to gain, hard to get responsibility and accountability when, and I'm probably gonna be I don't know if I'll be blacklisted for saying this, but I'm gonna say it regardless. And truth, you know, censors or whoever else be fucking damned. It's hard to get accountability and responsibility when the system itself isn't accountable or responsible. I'll let y'all think about that one. Months pass, years pass, you know, it is what it is at this point. I won't say it is what it is at this point because I mean there's no amount of anything that I could do there's no amount of anything that anyone can do at this point to try to get that. I don't know if it could be reopened or not. I'm not sure. But it is what it is right now. And as much and as angry as I am, as I was and at times still am, for what I perceive as a miscarriage of justice. Is as angry as I was and I am for it being for me being it being a complete whitewash. As angry and as angry as I was and I am for certain instances of this whole thing not coming together, not being put, not coming together because there's one missing element, and there's the other person who saw what went down. And as angry as I am for that, I can't, I can't, pull myself to. I don't know. As angry as I was for that, as angry as I am, as I was and still am, the outpouring of sadness and the wanting and the bargaining for with God for him to be back here just overwrites and overwhelms all of that. And I won't say that it's not a bad thing for that to happen. But at the same time I've learned to try to put things in perspective. Everyone has choices. We make good choices, we get good rewards. We make bad choices, we reap bad reward. We reap the bad things that come from those choices. Everybody in that everybody in that whole that instance or incident had a part to play. And they played their parts. And that's really all I'll say about that. At least for now. Years go by, you know, I question myself as a father. I question myself as a man. I question myself as to why if I was a good father, why did I allow my son to be put in that situation? Why didn't I teach him better? Why didn't I teach him right from why didn't I teach him how to act, how to maneuver, how to be better, how to do better, how to think better, how to be better? My response to that would be this. I couldn't teach him or show him anything. I couldn't teach him or show him anything at that time because at the time he wasn't at the time he wasn't responsive to it. And I had to understand while he was with me at that time, I couldn't do all that because the simple fact of the matter is me trying to force things made certain situations worse. You can't force it, you can't force anybody, you can't make anybody learn something from you if they're not responsive, if they're not responsive to it, if they're not if they're not going to respond to it. That was the hardest lesson I had to learn. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn. One of the other lessons I had to learn is that that doesn't that doesn't reflect on me negatively. If for a long time, I thought it did. I thought that that would be a black mark on me. That I was incapable of being a good father or incapable of being a good man or someone who would of upstanding in that. And for a very long time, that is how I felt. I felt responsible for my son's death. because I felt like I didn't teach him enough, or I didn't show him enough, or I didn't try to be more of a positive influence to him. There are times, there are times, and it's been 7 years from the day. It's been 7 years to July 4th made 7 years. And there are times within that 7 years that I felt that way. There are still times, even now in 2022, that I still feel that way. That I still feel responsible for my son's death, even though even though even though he didn't do even though it wasn't even though it was even though I didn't have a hand in it. You know, now with the advent of other police incidents involving black people, now I have anxiety with that. Now there's also PTSD from that. And I'm not saying that to glorify those conditions, because I'm not, and I won't. But that was the result of it. And to be honest with you, a lot of things suffered. A lot of things suffered, and a lot of things, I won't say suffered, but a lot of things deteriorated in my life, and a lot of relationships suffered. When it's funny that when at one point you think that you lose more friends than you gain, and that's how I felt. Sometimes that's how I still feel. But there is a phoenix that rose from the ashes of this tragedy. There's a phoenix that rose from the ashes of this tragedy. January 26th, 2016. Kanaya Janice Beatty is brought into this world. And 6 years later, she is a very precocious, intelligent, active, smart, kind, and very personable little girl. She is she is precious. She is very precious. And that little girl is my son's legacy. That little girl is the reason why I go. When I think about her, when I think about Kanaya and the world that she lives in right now, the world that she lives in, the world that she has lived in for the last 6 years, I get emotional. I get very emotional to hear the simple fact that she was bullied because her father wasn't because her father's not here. To know that made her sad. Made me very sad, but it also made me very, very angry to understand and question to question and make myself question how in the fuck do kids raise their children? How in the fuck do parents raise their children to be cruel like that? And knowing that there's a 6-year-old who doesn't have a father, and and they they pick on this little girl because of the simple fact she doesn't have a father. Who does that? Who the hell does that? When I think about her, she is my son. She is Kawanza's legacy. She is the one remaining thing that myself, his mother, his grandmothers, his great grandmother, his grand her great her she is the one remaining thing that me and his mom, her grand her grandmothers, her great grandmothers, her great grandfathers, her aunts, her nieces, her cousins and nephews. She is the one remaining thing. She's the one remaining thing of him that we all have. She's the one remaining thing that I vow to protect. She is the one remaining thing of my she's the one remaining thing of my son that I vow to cherish, that I vow to hold dear to my heart and protect her and protect that with every fiber of my being. She is that vital because she is that one vital connection to my son that I want that I'm going to do everything in my power to keep close to me. There's so much I want to teach her. So much knowledge I want to pass on to her. So many things that I want to shield her from. But I know that I can't. I know that I can't do that. I know that there are things that I can teach her. There are things that I can impart to her. There's wisdom and knowledge that I can give her. There's things that I can give her. I can when I pass on, I want to give her I want to give her this podcast platform for her to do with as she pleases. I want to be able to give her that, give her something that she can have and she can use and she can lead, she can use. I want to give her this podcast platform, and I plan on giving her this platform because I want to leave her, but I want to leave something behind for her. I want to leave I want to leave this world better. I want to leave this world. I want to leave this world better for her than when I inherited it. So yeah, there are things I want to give her. There are things I want her to have. There are things and people that I want to shield and protect her from. I know that I can't. I know I can't do that because I'm not. Because number one, I'm not. I don't live in Virginia. However, me and Kanaya's mom have a very good relationship, and she tries to she keeps me informed of a lot of things. And I want to personally just say, say thank you, Jessica, boy, for being such a great mom to Kanaya. Um, I truly appreciate you. So there's a lot of things that I want to that I want to protect her and shield her from. But I know I can't do that. But one thing I can do is pass down knowledge, pass down wisdom, pass down understanding, pass down um, so many other things a lot of things a lot of things she does replicates Kawanza. Her charity to others, her her kind-hearted nature towards people, her her loving nature towards people, her openness, gregariousness toward people, her willingness to be helpful her willingness to be helpful towards people, her willingness to be her willingness to just be a helpful person. A lot of so many qualities that she replicates in Kawanza. And I saw those qualities firsthand a couple of years ago. So much love, so much joy, so much compassion, so willing to help, so willing to help, and to be in a, so willing to be a help. And the thing of it is, she keeps that. She loves those who love her. She shows love to those who love her. And I can and I'm a, and I can and I'm a firsthand witness to that. She shows love to those who love her. She's very open in how she feels and what how she feels toward people. That's not anything you can that's nothing you can imitate at all. It's nothing you can imitate at all. And I feel I'm I feel a sense of pride. I also feel a sense of responsibility when it comes to her. There is a responsibility that I have as a grandfather. My responsibility is to continue is my responsibility is an extension of her mother, her mother. But my additional responsibility is to impart wisdom, impart understanding, impart knowledge. She wants to know who her father is. I am more than glad to tell her. And I'm pretty sure that everyone else in her family is glad will be glad to tell her. That's the day I'm looking that's the day I'm looking forward to. That's the day I'm looking forward to. I'm looking so forward to that. The one thing that I want to impart on everyone who's listening or who's watching right now is that the loss of a loved one, though great, the love that you have for that, the love and compassion that you have for that loved one is even greater. And I'm very, very positive. I'm very sure that the our loved ones who are up there with the Father don't want us down, don't want us to be down here dwelling upon their memory, dwelling upon wishing that they were here or trying to bargain with God for them to come back or tell God, hey, take take me instead. Give him back, bring him back, take me instead. We know they know that we love them and that they miss them. But the one thing I want to impart on the other thing that I want to impart on everybody is that the greatest gift that you can give to someone who's no longer here, the greatest gift that you can give for someone that's no longer here is to continue living.
That is the greatest gift you can give to someone who's not, who's not here. To continue living, continue to live, continue to live for you. Live out your hopes, live out your dreams, live out your aspirations. Build a legacy for, build a legacy. And I believe in my hearts of hearts, that that's the greatest gift that we can ever impart, that we can ever give ourselves, that we can ever give ourselves, is to continue living, honoring their legacy, honoring their honoring their life, honoring the life that they lived, and the life that they gave, the life that they gave, the life that they lived and that they gave willingly or unwillingly, honoring their life by living ours to the fullest. To me, that's the greatest gift that it could ever be God, that could ever be given. I want to thank I want to thank you all, those that tuned in and listened, those that tuned in and watched. I want to thank you all very much for that, for your time, your understanding. Well, thank you all for bearing with me during this time, during this particular episode of this show. It was very challenging to kind of remain um, focused, is to keep myself on track and without being overly emotional. There, I'm pretty sure once this camera goes off, there will be a lot of emotions that will be over that will overwhelm me, and I am completely okay with that. I am going to allow those emotions to overtake me to overtake me, because I think it has been far too long that I have held those emotions in, and I think now it's time to just to let it all go. So I want to thank you all for just being patient with me and being understanding with me. Um, I just thank you all, and thank you all in advance for that. Continue to follow us on Continue to follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Also, continue to listen to us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, Breaker FM, Stitcher, Deezer Radio, anywhere you get your audio podcast. Once again, I thank you guys for listening to me. Once again, I thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Again, thank you for bearing with me for this last hour and about almost hour and 15 minutes. Um, Again, I know that I try to do my very best to hold in my emotions. Once this camera goes off, the cascade of emotions are gonna fall, and I embrace that. I will embrace it. So again, thank you for tuning in, liking us, following us, sharing our content. Um, there's more content to come. Um, Continue. Make sure that you follow each of my hosts, Quint Jones, Coco Fenton, and Barbara Melvin on their respective social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. If they Twitter, LinkedIn, if you find them there, make sure you do it. Make sure you give a shout out to them on their respective social media platforms. You can also follow me on Facebook Facebook on my personal page at Frederick Beatty. You can also follow the Trailblazers Radio Facebook page at Trailblazers Radio. You can follow me on my personal Instagram at Mr. underscore Beatty. Also, our Trailblazers Radio Instagram page at Trailblazers Radio. That's spelled with a Z. Also, follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn. We're also at Trailblazers with a Z Radio. Gonna be posting more to LinkedIn here in the next few days, as I'm gonna post a LinkedIn more in the next few days, as I want to try to get our LinkedIn engagement up. and going to do a lot more posting more to um, Twitter, as I want to try as I'm going to try to get our Twitter engagement up as well. Um, and there, I do have a. If anyone's looking, if anyone wants to be a sponsor, if anyone wants to sponsor a show, we do have sponsorship opportunities available. I'm going to put a post out here in a little while, and I'm going to say that we do have sponsorship opportunities available for you. So we do have some sponsorship packages that could be worth your while. If you are interested, you can email me at trailblazersradio@gmail.com. I'll also put that in the also put that in the Facebook and Instagram post here in a little while. But once again, thank you guys. Um, Thank you guys for just taking the time out of a Wednesday evening and listening to me. I appreciate that. I really do. Um, I thank you guys for continually following us and connecting with us and linking in with us and just being here. I thank you guys so very much for being part of our family. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And I'm I'm committed. I'm committed to make this. I am wholly committed to make this particular podcast platform the best platform it could ever be. So there are more things coming. There are more things coming. There are more things coming. Keep your eye, keep your ears, and keep your ears on the ground and your eyes open for us because we got more things coming. I will also post the events that I mentioned on on my Facebook page, so you guys can take a look at that as well. And that's going to conclude this episode of Trailblazers Radio with me, your host Frederick Beatty. Make sure you guys continually stay tuned in to My Life Has Destiny Radio with my sisters Miss Coco Fenton and Quint Jones, as well as the takeover with my sis Barbara Melvin, aka Bobby, and there's gonna be so many great. My sis Bobby is bringing fire, dude. She is bringing like fire, and she is bringing in heat. So I want you guys to tap in with that. Tap in because she's bringing some fire. And my sis Coco Fenton and Quint Jones are doing the same thing. I'm just trying to match their energy, man. I'm just trying to match their energy. That's all. But on that note, I want to thank you guys again for tuning in with us, and thank you guys again for tuning in to me. Um, this show is dedicated. This show is dedicated to the memory of my son Kawanza Jamal Beatty. Sunrise, March 9th, 1992. Sunset, July 4th, 2015. Gone too soon. Gone, but most definitely not forgotten. The three things that I always like to say before we end the program. Number one, number one, take care of each other. Number two, love on each other. Number three, is a very, very dangerous, a very, very crazy ass world out here. So I want you guys to always and forever be safe. We love y'all, and we love y'all, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about that. And we thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night.
My Life Has Destiny is a faith-based podcast that talks about testimonies of faith, hope, redemption, restoration, and the perseverance of ordinary people through the extraordinary power of God. Join host Quint Jones, Coco Fenton, and introducing Terrence Jackson every Monday and Thursday nights right here on Trailblazers Radio. Join Bobby for The Takeover every Tuesday night as she tackles tough subjects with her trademark humor and wit. We guarantee you'll be educated, edified, and also entertained. So join us at 8 p.m. every Tuesday night, right here on Trailblazers Radio.